This is my favorite Sonny Stitt lick. It's a triad enclosure in F. All right, so watch me shoehorn this lick into giant steps. Good evening, everybody. So what we did is at the end of last class, we started talking about triad enclosures. We can use our triad shapes and use those to make jazz language. In the book, Creative Guitar Fundamentals, page 56, these are my three favorite sort of areas of the neck where I have sort of stolen the Sonny Stitt lick. So the Sonny Stitt lick has a triad enclosure going up and then a different triad enclosure going down. But the rule is the same. So the rule with triad enclosures is, and it says it here in this text, that the rule is you use a scale tone above each triad note and you use a chromatic note below each triad note. Now, what I love about this language, this sort of vocabulary, is that it sounds great in multiple styles of music. Sounds, you hear it in gypsy jazz, you hear it in swing, you hear it in bebop, you hear it in country, you hear it in bluegrass. It's like almost like this ubiquitous way of like making the changes when you're soloing. So here it is. Like if you imagine this F triad, I'm thinking of the A shape, right? This is the literal Sonny Stitt lick that I stole from it. I think it's I Can't Give You Anything But Love from the Sonny Stitt Sits In with the Oscar Peterson Trio. It's something like this. It's a really cool lick. So what it's doing is it's like, as a guitar player, I have to think of shapes, right? I don't think a saxophone player is thinking of necessarily shapes. Maybe the triad, like muscle memory of the fingers. I don't know how they think, but I know how I think, and I'm thinking it's a shape. Like all the shapes have sort of this geometric pattern, right? So there's that, and I'm thinking like, okay, if I'm aware that that's a fifth, a scale tone above is a whole step, and a chromatic note below is just a half step. I guess the below is always going to be a half step below. Now here's the root. A scale tone is always going to be a whole step, especially if I'm just doing like notes from a regular major scale. It's a whole step up, and a chromatic note below happens to be from the scale. Hey, Alex, we're doing more of that triad enclosures based on your question from last time. And then when you go to the third, it's a half step above and a half step below, right? So when you think about it, it's so from the root, it's 2, 1, 7, 1. When you go to the third, it's 4, 3, sharp 2, or minor third to third. And then the fifth, it's going to go 6, 5, sharp 4, or flat 5, 5. So it's the same shape. If, again, this is just using the notes from the regular major scale. You can do minor enclosures. You can do stuff from different scales. But let's just do the major stuff from the regular major scale for now. It helps to know the arpeggio, and it helps to know which one's the fifth, which one's the root, and which one's the third. So in this particular area of the neck, let me zoom in on this. This is the shape that I'm thinking of for that Sonny Stitt lick. So you've got the 5, 1, 3, 5, 1, 3, 5, 1. So you can do this, and then the 1, the 3, 5, 1, 3, And then descending, I think the descending one is a little more tough. So what happens is it's still the same shape, but it does this thing called interpolation. It goes. It's kind of like you remember how you can practice your scales in thirds. You can go like, right? You can do the same thing with arpeggios. Or down. Now, if you do the enclosure thing, you can do this. But what Sonny Stitt does is he only picks one of them. He doesn't do the note above and below. He only picks one of them. So he'll go above and then below and above, below, above, below. You see how there's like multiple combinations of things you can do? You don't have to do this. You can do this or this or there's all like multiple combinations of things. Jonathan Kreisberg has done a lot of this work, so you can check out some of his brilliant work. And if you want to go through the trouble of working all of them out, be my guest. I felt like I'm just going to learn a couple of them and at least try and get good at those if I'm going to have those in my muscle memory. So these are the ones I worked out. So to reiterate, here's the shape. So if I just do the arpeggio first, it goes. Now, you might notice that the fingering is a little squirrely coming down if you want to make it nice and smooth. So feel free to use the fingering that I have. You might notice that I wrote fingerings in and slurs in because guitar is a tricky instrument. There's, what is it? Mick Goodrick calculated there's an average of 9.2 different fingerings for every note on the guitar. So what I did is this. Slide one and then finger roll. I like the finger rolls. Not everybody likes it. Slide down a whole step and then 2 slide and then 3, 2, 1 slide, and then the rest of them are a little more self-explanatory. So again, the only weird thing is like knowing how to shift and how to slide. So if you can get that in your muscle memory, it's accessible to you. Let me zoom in. So I've got, can everybody see that? 1, 1, 1, 1, 2, 2, 3, 2, 1, 1. Now the trick is if you can associate that lick with a shape that you already know, it makes it a little easier to learn. A new memory is easier to make if it's attached to an old memory. So if you've got this, does everybody have that shape down? Like how, like kind of ready to go? Like you can kind of see that top of an A shape, or maybe the bottom of a G shape, You can kind of associate it with the G shape and then the A shape. So that's what I'm thinking of. Like that way I can target those notes easier when I'm soloing. So let's look at the other shapes real quick. So this here's another area of the neck. So I've got like three zones. The other one is basically, it starts off with the C shape. See that those notes on top? You might think of that triangle. You know, you might recognize that triangle from the top of the D shape, but I kind of see it as, you know, the bottom of the C shape. Okay, and then it basically goes to, it's like a hybrid of a D shape and the C shape. So these notes are from the D shape, and these notes are from the C shape. Does everybody have those? So this is now the lowest note in this shape is the third, so you know that it's just a half. The enclosure is going to be a half step on either side, and then so that's the shape, and I'll just play that for you again. So third, fifth, one, and then you can go up to this. You know. If you can visualize the triad arpeggio, it makes it a lot easier. Now coming down, it's really interesting because I'm basically going to come down. This. What did I do? Something like that. So here's the fingering that I worked out. So it goes like this: 2 2 1 1 4 2, and now here's where I have to go parallel. You know how like sometimes there's like two separate fingers on the same fret. That's like kind of violating a little bit the sort of position playing that I'm normally a fan of, but that's okay. So it goes like this. That way it's smooth. So if you look, like, I like sort of seeing geometric shapes in like, you know, when I'm looking at stuff or whatever out the window or whatever. Like this to me it looks like a cross. So you see that? It's like, I don't know if that makes sense. So, and what you can do is you can make that little part of this fragment. So that little like little triangle. So do you guys play that? It's like an F triad with the root in the melody. And then try this. So associate with that shape. Anyway, that's a little fragment that's kind of like interesting. So every little area of the neck has this like own problem. But so again, I'll just play it again. So 2 2 1 1 4 2. Here's that cross. 1 1 1 1. And then 3 3 3 2 1. Oh, sorry. You have to go parallel again here. Let me do it again. Yeah, you only have to play it like 50 times for it to get comfortable. Now, if you can like do it and still envision this shape, I kind of see the C shape. I didn't go all the way down, did I? You could go down. Go down some more if you want to. So then that's that shape. And then the third zone is what would be kind of considered the E shape. So I'm up here. There's my E shape, F triad. So going up, I think this is the easy one. So root, whole step above. Third is half step on either side. Fifth, whole step. Root, third, fifth root. So again, it's just like if you can convert those chord shapes into lines, that's where you're hyper aware that a chord shape can be a melody. So this is where I think being sort of combining your rhythm guitar brain with your lead guitar brain helps. Okay, now let's see if we can do that descending lick. There's some squirrely fingerings in here too. Let's see if we can figure this out here. So there's two parallels in here, just like the other weird shape. So I'm kind of, this one, it starts off, it sort of starts off in the E shape, like E shape, but then it ends up in the bottom of the D shape. So let me play all of them again for you. So can you imagine how awesome it'd be to have all those like ready to go? So no matter what major chord you're landing on, you've always got something cool to hit. So another thing that might be helpful is like maybe you could do little segments, little fragments. So I think of the these triad shapes that are just on the string set 2, 3, 4. Those ones. So have like a way to go, something like that. And then something like that. Like have something to play on those ones. Oh, sorry, this one. So, are you with me on those? Like, I kind of think they're cool. Like, so on this shape, there's no weird shifts involved in this one. You can kind of do it in one fell swoop. So it's 3-1, 3-1, 2-3, finger roll. So 3-2. So okay, and then this one, the top of the kind of the A shape or the bottom of the G shape, you can start on the second and slide it. So 2-2, 1-1. That one's kind of cool. You kind of see it on either side. So the geometry of the instrument is like super helpful, right? And once you learn each of these as shapes, you can play it in any key. This is one of those things that if you are obsessed with naming each note, like the normal like naming of the musical notes as opposed to numbers, names will slow you down, but numbers will be adaptable. All right, this one, that one, 2-2, 1-1, or 2-2, 1-1, finger roll, 1-1. So everybody play this. 2, 3, 4. 2, 3, 4. Does that make sense? Can we come up with some randomness to help us with this? How about that? I didn't realize that's a kind of a cool chord. You can kind of turn enclosure notes into its own chord. See this one? It'd be this one.
Sounds like a 5-1 thing going on.
It does kind of, doesn't it? Like a very interesting 5-1. This is like a sus2 flat 6. What's this one? That's just a C9. That does sound like a 5-1, doesn't it? What would would this one be? Ooh, that's weird. That one sounds a little sour. It's very out. That might be a cool like riff. You could kind of write something interesting. Let's see. I don't know. I'm just kind of thinking out loud. Sometimes I get on these little weird tangents. I'm like, oh, I wonder what that will sound like. Anyway. So you wanna see something cool? So imagine I'm just playing playing these F triad enclosures, but I'm thinking of a 2-5-1. Let's see here. All right, so that's just a 2-5-1 in F. So in the looper. And what would it sound like if I play these enclosures? Yeah. Or kind of sounds like I'm making the changes, right? But I'm not thinking of it. I'm just thinking of the one chord. I wonder what happens if I think of the 5. Because there's the same enclosure could exist on the 5 as well. Like if I do a C chord in the key of F, it'll be the same thing. You know, what's funny is the target notes in F. The target notes of a C triad will be the 9th, the 5th, and a 7th of F. So it might sound cool. You want to see what it sounds like? I kind of want to see what it sounds like. This is one of those cool things about like theory. Can you like, hey, I wonder if this would work. If it works, cool, we can add it. If it doesn't, we can throw it away. But yeah, this is sort of starting with the mind instead of starting with the ear. But it might work. Let's see what it sounds like. Do you like it? I like it. I kind of like it. Anyone else like it?
I've got a question. I like it. It's cool. I've got a question. When you say seeing the triad shape, are you seeing all of those notes at once, or are you seeing them as you move towards them? Because in my mind, I can't fathom how I'd see the whole thing while picking out specific parts. It would give me like, I don't know. I get paralyzed when I do that.
All right. Let me ask you this: like, if I ask you, so let me put you on the big screen because I think this is a big deal. So how much have you done towards learning your triad shapes?
I've done like this whole moving them on a string set
Okay.
and then moving them across string sets, like.
Okay. Cool. Nice.
But I can't see it all at once.
You can't see it all at once. Okay. Well, let me ask you this.
if that-
I'm just
yeah.
gonna like throw some
Oh
throw
boy.
some yeah. Here's what I'm gonna do. I'm gonna do some randomness, okay? Because what randomness does is it takes stuff out of context, and you can't use your ear. You have to like use your eye to find it
Yeah, yeah,
quick.
yeah.
I'm just gonna do this. I'm gonna go A, B, C, D, E, F, G, B flat, C sharp. So I've got these like, okay. Just put your hand in the middle of the neck. Doesn't matter where. Just play a D.
Okay, there it is.
Okay,
Now it's a
right on.
C. There's a D. Sorry, my bad.
Okay, now so you're on string set 2, 3, 4, right? I
Yeah.
love those ones. They're nice and fat on the guitar. They just sound really clear.
Mhm.
Okay, now find the closest B flat from there.
Mm,
Okay, cool. So you
I
were able
think
to see it.
I think so.
Yeah. Okay.
Yeah.
Now find the closest C.
That would be there.
You can go up to yeah.
Or this one.
Yeah, you can go down there. Yep. How about a G?
The closest G would be, yeah,
Okay,
that
and then
one.
A.
Oh wow, just a whole
And
step up. I would.
Yeah, yeah, and maybe you can challenge yourself. Like I'm going to stay around the
Oh, okay.
middle of the neck. It doesn't have to be, but like
hmm
you know,
hmm
be there's see how fast you can get through all. What is it? 9 of them. Yeah, play all
Okay.
9.
Oh wow, like right now.
Yeah, yeah.
Okay, cool.
Sorry to throw you under the bus, but
Where's A? Where's E? I'm moving out of position, I
it's okay.
suppose.
Yeah, just
I
find
think
the
playing in. So let's start again.
okay.
C, G, A, E. Is that an
That's
E?
E
No,
flat. You're
that's
close.
E.
Yeah.
B.
B.
It's past already.
Okay.
I guess it's there,
Yeah, or you can go.
and then yeah,
Yeah, or
right. It's right there. You see, I didn't see that, and it was right there. That's exactly what I'm talking about.
yeah.
It was
No,
right
but
there,
like
and I didn't see it.
you're faster this week than you were last week.
I'm not sure. I'll
You're not
take it.
sure?
Thanks.
Okay. All right. So
But
yeah,
yeah,
yeah, that's pretty much all it is. It's like you can like have you seen that note randomization? Just type it. Just go to Google. It says
yeah, yeah, yeah.
random
I
note
have.
generator, and
Uh-huh.
you can put like 20 of them. Just like or you can time them. You can put them on a timer. It's really cool.
Okay. Okay. I'll work on it.
Like and then you can here actually let me see if I can find it. Type in random note generator, random note picker, brettpimentel.com, and you can change the options. Let's do let's do one at a time, and let's put them on a timer. Show timer. So B flat. You got 5 seconds. Okay, so B flat, and then G. Oh, that yeah, and then D flat, and B. C. Yep. Now, what you can do is use this. You start by just seeing the triad shape, and then you can maybe associate each of those shapes with one of those. So when you have G, right? Say if you're here, you can do one of those triad shapes, or if you're up here.
Right.
Let's see how long, if 5 seconds is too boring, you. I did A
Okay.
flat twice. I was
Yeah.
like, why didn't it change? Okay. Uh, uh, did D flat twice again. So yeah, I guess when there's randomness. Uh, uh,
Um, you see how you just play that arpeggio?
yeah, yeah, yeah.
Did you
So
see all those notes at the same time, or
I
did
mean,
you see them as you played them?
so okay. So when I played the arpeggio, I was hyper aware of
Yeah,
what the bass note was. So I
of
did it
course.
from the. So when it was B flat, it's
Uh-huh.
something like that. You can. So
So it's a combination of visualization and muscle memory.
exactly.
Okay,
That's exactly
got
what
it.
it is. Yep. Yep. So you work on attacking it from multiple angles. Like
Mhm.
like some people have like a more developed ear, and they don't want to think. And they just fish around and that's the good ear hand coordination. You can practice it like that too, but here we're just doing it. Our eye is our trigger, right? So we don't know what it
Mhm.
sounds like
Yeah,
by
that's
looking at
true.
the page. We don't know what it says. We have to generate the sound to hear it, right? So this is going to have to be an eye hand coordination and a mind hand coordination exercise. And so I'm looking at the shapes, anything I can do to grab it. So I'm not, you want to. That goes back to the burpees thing, right? So the burpees is like you do the note recognition, you know I'm kind of doing like the roots in the caged system, and then after that is I think the closed triads, the three zones, and then is it the arpeggios next? So and then the spread triads, and then you kind of do all those different textures, so
Yes.
you do them in close succession, quick succession, so that you can associate, like it's like, oh, I know how to play that part, so that leads to this, leads to this, leads to this. So you're probably like, when you see a beat, you could probably play this no problem, right?
Yeah, yeah,
The
yeah,
full
for
chord like
sure.
that. Those are the big cowboy chords that everybody first learns, right? but
Yeah.
but being able to associate that with this, or it just takes a little bit of connecting the dots so that you can kind of associate all that stuff together. So B, G, E flat, back to G, E flat, B, E flat, G, B, E flat, back to B. So it's like a little bit of a brain teaser. Now,